On today's show, 16-hour raids? Is Bungie insane? Beta characters in progress might also carry over to the release, and a whole lot of juicy news. All that and more on Destiny the Show.
You're listening to Destiny the Show. Welcome, Guardians.
Welcome, Hump Day! This is July 16th, the day before the beta begins, and boy, do we have a ton to talk about. I'm BBK Dragoon, and there was so much news this week. It was insane. And guess what? Yeah, that beta thing, the thing we've been waiting forever for, well, it begins tomorrow for the PlayStation Master Race. So, in an effort to not waste time, let's get into it. Joining me today is the sultry, smooth, adaptable, adventurous, communicative, conscientious, creative, decisive, and determined DITTY. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of the listeners already know DITTY. He's a YouTuber and a streamer and can be found over at youtube.com/wooshness with 3 O's, and that's down below. So, DITTY, welcome. What'd you do this week, dude?
I did lots of school. I'm in a lot of classes.
You're in a ton right now, right?
Yeah,
6?
I'm in 6 classes right now.
Oh my gosh, dude. How are
It's
you
rough.
surviving?
Barely.
And you are part of that PlayStation Master Race. You start tomorrow, man.
I do. My PlayStation has been set on standby mode just in case the beta download comes in. And I have it set so where it will automatically download to the console. So once that hits the PlayStation Store, it's going to start downloading, and I'm going to start playing the beta.
So it hasn't set up for preloading just yet.
Not yet. A few people found a way around it by making Europe accounts on
I
the
heard about
PlayStation.
that.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I don't want to go too much into it, but basically they just created a new European account and the beta just preloaded. They couldn't play it, but
Yeah.
it preloaded and they're ready to play.
I'm waiting for some hacker to totally exploit this fact. You have the entire game on your hard drive, but what is missing? What critical piece of the DNA code is there?
Seriously.
So, well, cool. We got a lot of news, dude. Let's jump right into it. All right, today in the news, first up, beta progress could carry over. DITTY, you tweeted me this last night, and I just about lost it. So let's read from, I think this was a GameSpot article. All this stuff is in the show notes. By the way, guys, if you're on iTunes, you can check out the show notes over at destinytheshow.com. We keep all the links organized there, and some bonus stuff for the viewers who check it out during the week. So, this beta is a test, says David Deege, the community manager for Destiny. Is that correct, DITTY?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Right on. Deej says, it is extremely unknown as to what the outcome will be. So, it's certainly not a promise or an announcement that we're making at this time. It all depends on what we learn and how things shake out. And that is regarding if progress will carry over from Destiny's beta, the characters, or some of the achievements you unlock there. Will it carry over to the actual beta? So, it's a pretty ambiguous answer. But, DITTY, what do you think about this?
I don't think it'll happen. Not for any technical reasons, but for the fact that, some items could be added or removed from the beta. So if you have that gear on you, it'll mess up your character a little bit. And it just seems to me like that would be something that they would have announced by now. But it's Bungie. They can do whatever they want. They extended the alpha for another day, so they could just announce it on the 26th, that special day. They could say, oh, by the way, it's going to carry over. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. That's what I'm really thinking with the beta. I agree. I don't think characters are going to carry over, and I'm going to, blow the lid off something. I don't care. And I don't think Xbox users should really care that, PlayStation players are getting 4 extra days than us. Because, in the MMO grand scheme of things, I don't think people realize, 4 days means nothing. That's like a drop in the bucket for an MMO. Players will make that up in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But if it does happen, I guess that would be pretty cool. They did note in the article that it's mainly a performance test and that they're really hoping that September, when the game comes out, it's going to be a smooth launch. Because, every MMO launch is a huge undertaking. Like, can you imagine how pressed all these servers are going to be and the behind-the-scenes sort of realm matching performance or whatever it is that they're putting into this? Like, I'm hopeful, I don't know, that the beta is just a performance test. We get to try characters out, and to be honest, I'd love it if everybody started with a fresh slate. So,
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, we're not going to be investing too much time into our characters in the beta. Like, for Xbox people, they only have 4 days. PlayStation, we only have 8 days. I mean, it's not, in the grand scheme of things, we're going to be playing this game for what they said 10 years is the contract with Activision.
Yep.
Like, what's 8 days to 10 years of gameplay? I mean, it like you said, I don't really care if we get carryover or not.
It's a drop in the bucket, but I do like that they're stoking the fires. Like, Bungie's playing with us a bit, so.
Always do. They're masters at it.
So our second story needs to be brought up. Destiny beta will not be compatible with some Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 consoles. This one's kind of self-explanatory, but the beta has been revealed to be quite meaty, clocking in at around 12.5 gigabytes on the Xbox One system, almost twice the size of the alpha build released for the PlayStation 4, which was about 7 gigs. This is a clear indication that the PlayStation 4 version of the beta client will also require a similar chunk of the hard drive. I think it's actually 16 gigs, right?
It's about 14, 15, yeah.
Okay, so it's a little bit bigger there. You definitely want to have enough hard drive space going in, but what that means is the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 models that don't have the hard drive space to accommodate this would be the Xbox 360 arcade console, the Xbox 360 4GB console, the 360 core system, the PlayStation 3 12GB system, and basically any other system that doesn't have the hard drive space to accommodate the Destiny beta will not be able to participate within the beta. I guess that's like, it should be assumed that if you're using like an arcade Xbox, you can't download this stuff without a hard drive to fit the space. So if anybody's like particularly upset, like crying right now, going, I can't believe this, like, I'm sorry, but this is self-explanatory.
This
you know
is a next generation game, and sorry.
Yeah. By the way, dude, I've got the one sitting next to me. It's like a huge VCR. This thing looks like a VCR. I'm not kidding. Like, it's not a very pretty design.
Isn't it bigger than the Slim 360?
It's way bigger. It's bigger than my like white Xbox, dude. It's huge.
Dang.
It's a big VCR, but I am really happy that I went towards next gen. I would have done the PlayStation 4 because, like, secretly or publicly now, I think it's the better console of the two, just in terms of like long term. I really like Sony's products, but I'm tethered at the heel to the Master Chief Collection. So
yeah, I was not considering getting an Xbox One, but then the Master Chief Collection happened, so
I know
now that has to happen.
Dude. It's a moral problem. Okay, so the Destiny beta is going to have 4 chapters, 4 Crucibles, 1 strike, and a huge open world to explore. This was just an announcement talking about what's going to be within the beta. Diddy, what was a chapter? Did like the alpha have chapters?
Kind of. It had almost like a tutorial beginner story mode. It had one story level.
Mm-hmm.
And what the 4 chapters means, it means 4 story chapters.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many chapters there's going to be in the final game. But that's from my experience from the alpha.
So these are like quest lines, basically.
Yes, this is your story mode, campaign, whatever you want to call it.
Gotcha.
That's what that is.
Cool. Well, that's a lot more than the alpha, it looks like, so people are going to have a little bit of a progression to see what that's like. 4 Crucibles. Crucibles are the PvP maps. How many? Was there one in the alpha?
There were 2 in the alpha, and with these 4, 2 of the 2 that were in the alpha are going to be 2 of the 4 in the beta.
Oh, okay, so only 2 new maps.
So only 2 new maps. The 2 in the beta were Rusted Lands on Earth and First Light on the Moon, and then the 2 extras in the beta are going to be 1 on Venus and 1 on Mars. So we're going to get all 4 texture palettes, areas to explore to see what the environments are going to be like in the story.
The Mars stuff looks really cool, especially since like the lore is so rich there.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
And a strike, you said, is... Oh, by the way, listeners, if you didn't know, Diddy participated in the alpha. So that's why I'm sort of picking his brain here. If you
There
couldn't
are-
figure that out, though,
There are a few videos on my channel. I have a playlist of all the alpha videos that I've posted.
that Hunter gameplay, man, looked really good. So, one strike is included. A strike is basically like a dungeon. If you've played WoW, it's a 3-man sort of encounter. I wouldn't call it an encounter, but it's a series of encounters, right? It's supposed to take 15 to 30 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so in the alpha there was the Devil's Lair strike, and it's match made, so you actually select that you want to participate in a strike, kind of like the Crucible matchmaking.
Yep.
So you'll go into a lobby, it'll match you with 2 other players, and it'll be 2 different classes as well. So if I'm playing Hunter, I'm going to get matched with a Warlock and a Titan. So it's a full fire team, and it's a series of dungeons, pretty much. It's you have the Devil's Lair had 2 boss fights. Sepkis Prime. I don't remember how to pronounce
All
that
good.
name, but there's a video on my channel about it. But it took me the first time about 25 minutes to complete, and
Cool.
depending on the difficulty, the alpha experience had 2 difficulties, like regular and then like legend.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, legend is like legendary from Halo. It's hard. It is
nice.
hard. So it's going to be interesting.
Makes me really excited because I compare WoW a lot because that's an MMO I really enjoy and play. So WoW has these things called instances, which are the exact same thing. 20 minutes, little dungeons, few bosses, and you have different difficulty layers like normal or heroic. And they provide you with currency in game. So like when you reach the level cap of 90, you can earn justice points and valor points, both of which are spent to like on gear, on upgrades. And by doing dungeons or instances, you accrue that kind of credit. I believe the same thing is true with strikes. You earn, I can't remember what the name of the currency is, but you earn that
Glimmer.
late game. There we go.
Glimmer.
And that can be used for gear in the tower, right?
Yes.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. And the last bit was a huge open world to explore. Contrast that sentence, I guess, or that phrase with the alpha. How big was the exploration in the alpha?
It was actually a lot bigger than I had anticipated. There were certain areas where if you ventured too far, the enemies were higher than 10 levels.
Yeah.
10 levels or higher than you.
So the mobs just wasted you, right?
Yeah, so they're super powerful, and if they're 10 levels or higher than you, they'll just have like skull and crossbones above their head next to where their level would be.
Yeah.
And you only do 1 damage per bullet to them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
So-
it's just like, don't even bother.
You can kill them, but you're going to waste all of your ammo. Like even rockets did 1 damage. So like there are definitely incentives to level up in the game because you can't access, higher leveled areas.
Yep.
And that's just a way of keeping people
Guiding the player's
progressing.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's
if you're level 7, you shouldn't be going after level 13 quests.
Well, unless you have
Ish?
a fire team, ish.
Oh, okay, yeah,
It's like, yeah, like if you're just doing solo and if you're just starting out and you start level 1, level 3, whatever, and I go into an area where I see skull and crossbones, dude, he's going to one-shot me, and that's not fun.
Yeah.
It's funny when it happens once or twice, but it's not something that I want to continue to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But
cool.
the open world, it was very expansive. There were about 5 or so regions, and when I say regions, I mean it's one huge map and like 5 different areas, like 5 main areas with a bunch of pathways in between.
I think people don't even have a grasp of how huge this game is going to be. Like, I was just saying to you in the pre-show, like, a Bungie MMO is basically a never-ending Bungie campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so cool. And especially,
awesome.
It's like double the size. Like, the beta is double the size of the alpha. I imagine a good portion of that is environment and zones to explore.
Yeah, it better be. Because, oh man, I think in the beta, this is not confirmed information, but I think I saw somewhere that we're going to not just be on Earth, we'll be able to explore Venus, I think.
Nice.
In the beta. So that would be really awesome.
This is going to be a large game. Okay, next piece of news. Destiny is the first PlayStation 4 game to feature preloading through the PSN store. So with the support for preloading added to the PlayStation 4 in the 1.7 system update, Destiny will become the first title to officially support this feature. It's important to note that this is only for people who are buying the digital version of Destiny off of the PSN, correct?
I would believe so, yes.
Yes, that's what it says in the article, so you're correct.
I think the final game is going to be something like 40 gigs. So
Oh my gosh.
they're opening preloading, I think, on the 4th of September. And
Okay.
it comes out on the 9th. So that's 5 days of preloading for people.
That wouldn't be enough for my connection. I need a
Yeah.
month, dude, like on my internet. So I'm hopeful that by the time it installs on my Xbox One for the beta, I will have maybe a couple hours before the beta closes. We'll see though. That's a short little piece of news. And guess what? Bungie responded to an angry Xbox fan, and I don't want to spend time here because if you're still really pissed off and you're an Xbox user, I'm sorry, but you've had since like E3 of last year to figure out that Sony has an exclusive deal with Destiny, okay? So
Yeah, it's not necessarily Bungie's fault. It's Activision because they're the publisher. They are the one handling the marketing of the game. So if you don't get mad at Bungie for prioritizing PlayStation, it's Activision who did this. And I don't want to point fingers, but it's the truth. And to be honest, it's business. I mean, Sony fans had to wait 10 plus years, almost 15 years for a Bungie title to reach their systems.
Yep.
Like, you can wait a couple days or a year for the PlayStation exclusive content, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I have no empathy for angry Xbox fans. And
I mean,
that might
I'll,
sound
like-
biased because I have a PlayStation 4, but
Yeah.
even if I didn't have a PlayStation 4, I would understand because it's business. I mean,
They do this. Like with
Yeah.
Call of Duty, they've done this. I mean, I'll play devil's advocate and I'll be like, I'm sorry, Xbox users. You should have had a lot of warning for the last year of all those commercials that have said it's best on a PlayStation system.
Yeah.
But, call me crazy. Anyway,
it's also something really interesting that you brought up Call of Duty and Activision. And I know a lot of people who are Halo fans hate Call of Duty. I just want to say, like, when Activision was controlling Call of Duty, Xbox had priority every single time. Like, there were
Yep.
some DLCs that Sony and PC users didn't get for months after. And, like, it's business. I'm sorry.
it's more money going back towards Bungie, hopefully, in the end, and that's the way I'm going to view it. But anyway, the response here was to a question. It was by Deej. It wasn't very subtly asked, but one of the questions given was, why do you hate your Xbox fans? I just feel like this guy was crying and just ripping his eyes out. He was so mad. And Deej responds, we don't hate any of our fans. When we look at Bungie.net, we see gamers. We dare say that we see Bungie fans, although that might be assuming too much. Loving a good game and the hardworking developers who create it is not a console exclusive. This is one place where Guardians will truly be equal. You'll each have a chance to become a legend on this site. Our hope is that we can use this environment to talk about the amazing experiences we will all have in common. Bungie has embraced many different platforms in our storied history. We have a hard time sitting still. Our goal has been to create amazing worlds and fill them with as many passionate people as possible. What we would tell you is that if you want to explore the world of Destiny, it was built with you in mind. We make games here at Bungie. We love the people who play them equally. I think that's a pretty good answer. Like, I know it doesn't really address the fact that, like, hey guys, Activision gave us a bunch of money to let them have Sony benefits. But at the same time, like that last line, we make games here at Bungie and we love the people who play them equally. I think you just summed up exactly what you said. This isn't on Bungie's end. They love every player of their game and they want to bring you the best experience possible. It's business decisions above them that are causing this trickle down. Sony gets stuff early.
Yeah, they're making a game for gamers, not a game for spoiled PlayStation users.
Yeah, I mean, 4 days, Diddy. And yes, there is some DLC that's going to come to the PlayStation before it comes to the Xbox, but deal with it. Like, this game is going to have enough content, I promise you,
It's not
that it's
like,
not going to be a big deal.
It's not like any of the PlayStation people who get the gear before the Xbox users will have an advantage over them. I'm not going to be playing against you anyways.
Yeah. It's not, I got tier 16 PvP gear, guys. Good luck for the next month in Crucibles. Boom! And
It's
then he,
actually a year.
high-fives his Sony friend. It's a year, okay.
All the PlayStation exclusive content is a year ahead of Xbox.
Whatever. Like, I mean, we don't even know what, like, the content is going to be comprised of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be just like armor and whatever. It's not a bad thing.
yeah. Okay, moving into our last few pieces of news here. The Destiny Companion app for iOS and Android is out today, and it's a pretty cool app. Diddy, why don't you tell us about it?
It's actually really, really cool. IGN did a nice video walkthrough explaining what the companion app is, but basically it's a mobile application that allows you to expand your mind into the universe of Destiny. And that's a very marketing sentence to say, but it's very true. Say I'm at school and I'm planning with my friends. We need to do this raid tonight. Say, oh, okay, we're going to start as soon as I get home, but I don't want to waste time changing out my gear. I can open up the Destiny Companion app. It gives me a 3D render of my character. By the way, it has all of your profiles there. So if you have a Hunter, Titan, and a Warlock, you can change any of your profiles in this app. And you can swap out your gear, and it happens live on the game. So as soon as you fire up your Xbox, say I change my primary weapon from a hand cannon to an assault rifle, it'll be there as soon as I play the game, as soon as I turn the game on. And it's actually really cool.
I like it. I actually just downloaded onto my phone right before the show. I can't use anything because, well, I don't have a character, and it just looks really nice. It's got some lore stuff there. It also talks about if there's vendors in the tower. The tower, by the way, for new players is basically your player hub, like capital cities, where you're going to be spending your time to get new gear, meet up with players. Quest givers, I imagine, are going to be there as well. So it's got definitely some usefulness within the game, but it's slick. Like just using it, I've got it on my phone right now. It's a slick little app. It's got a spot for news so you can see when special events are going to be going on, which you can bet your bottom dollar every week there's going to be weeklies and daily events that are going on.
Yeah, they're similar to how the credit system in Halo Reach worked. You know, you could have like certain challenges to complete, like get 25 headshots in a game.
Yep.
There are going to be similar things like that, which will give you Glimmer, which is the money that we've said before, and other things that will help you rank up your weapons and your gear.
Cool.
There will be stuff on the app that you can see.
So check it out. I'm sorry, Windows Phone users. Diddy's sort of in that position, man.
I have a Windows Phone, and it sucks because like I've played the alpha, and I really want to use this application, but sadly I have a Windows Phone, so developer support is very slim.
Yo, Microsoft users, Bungie hates you. Hashtag it, man. I want to see the pitchforks going.
Further evidence that Bungie hates Microsoft now.
It's confirmed, dude. All right, next one. We're almost finished here. What is Destiny for newcomers?
So this was a really cool Reddit thread that I found. Somebody did a very in-depth explanation of what Destiny is in terms of what kind of game it is and what it'll bring to the table. We're not going to go into depth about it. It's just, if you want to find out more, it'll be available to you down in the description in the show notes and on destinytheshow.com.
Yes, there we go. If you're lazy like me, that's what I really like to put, because I'm super lazy and I want to read like as little as possible. This is well organized. If you're just showing up into the Destiny world, definitely check this out, because it's going to give you the short little tidbit, all you need to know. It's like an appetizer that prepares you for the main course. All right, so our final piece of news. Man, what a big week. Ninja's Alpha Montage.
Yeah, so this was... Oh man, Ninja, he streamed Destiny like no other. I think he put in like 40 hours in a single weekend when the alpha hit. It was awesome. He was streaming so much, and he, someone, I don't know if it was him or not, probably not, edited a bunch of his stream moments like he always does, and just like Hunter and Warlock and Titan gameplay of just demolishing everybody in PvP. There were, I think, a few PvE clips as well, but it was really cool to see, and I think you should all go check it out.
Cool. And that's the news for today, guys. All of that can be found in the show notes. Let's get on to the topics.
This is your ghost, Miranda. And when I'm not out helping Guardians, I'm listening to Destiny the Show.
All right, for topic number 1, I'm going to be grilling Diddy right here. So for day 1, 2, 3, and 4 beta impressions, we've got our very own resident Diddy here to provide you with the content that you want to know, because the beta comes out tomorrow. IGN's actually streaming it today, but you want to dig deep. You want to find out what's going on, see how it's progressing. Where do they go, Diddy?
I'll be streaming a lot this weekend, and that's at twitch.tv/Diddy with an underscore, and that link will probably be in the description as well. And if you follow me on Twitter, I will tweet out whenever I plan on streaming. But I am going to be streaming a lot. Thursday, Friday, not so much because I still have class and work, but Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be like I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm going to stream until 2 a.m. So
Nice.
Saturday and Sunday is going to be the place. I'm going to be playing everything. I'm going to do all of the story missions, all the strike missions, a few PvP. I'm not going to do too much PvP simply because I want to explore the world a little bit more.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll do all the environment on Saturday and then PvP on Sunday or something like that.
What class are you going to play? Because you played Hunter in the alpha.
I'm
right?
going to stick with Hunter because
Really?
Hunter is just so good. I love it. I love rushing and the agility that the Hunter class provides. It just fits my playstyle. And I love double jump. Like, I've always wanted to have a double jump, and that's what the Hunter does. I don't like the glide of the Warlock. I think it's kind of hard to control. But that's probably because I only put like 10 minutes in with the Warlock, so it's unfair for me to say. And then Titan, it's there. You said it. You said it best last show. Titan is like the Master Chief of Destiny. It's really cool, but he has a jetpack, and I'm done with jetpacks.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I'm really looking forward to like when subclasses become more available and more details show like what specs you can actually take your class line down. You can level each subclass individually. So if you are going to be a hunter, you can bet your bottom dollar. I say that a lot, but you can guarantee there's going to be a lot of subclasses for hunters. I'm not sure how many, but
There's 3, I think.
okay. And each one of those you can level separately, and they're going to basically flavor that class differently and let you play it in a more specialized way. And I'm
Depending on
really
your subclass determines your supercharge.
Huh.
And the golden gun and the blade waltz dancer thing, those
Yeah.
are 2 different supers for the Warlock.
okay.
Hunter, excuse me. And
fine.
those are just 2 different subclasses of the Hunter. And I think there's 3 depending on your focus, your subclass, yeah.
I would bet the beta's going to have more subclasses than the alpha.
I would really hope that there's at least 2 because the second subclass is unlocked at level 15 and the alpha only went to level 8.
What do you think the level cap's going to be?
I think it's
free-balling?
20. I'm pretty
Do you
sure.
think they're going to let you max?
I think it's 20. Oh, you mean for the beta?
For the beta, not release.
I would hope at least 15 so we can see that second subclass. But I wouldn't put it past Bungie to keep it at 8.
Yeah. Well, beta's double the size, so maybe it'll be double the level.
Hope 16, there you go.
Logic.
Hopefully.
All right, our second topic is class poll. We ran this straw poll over on DestinyTheShow.com. We also polled people over on Reddit.com/r/Destiny the game. And we had 170 votes. And I gotta tell you, I'm really surprised. Hunter and Warlock came in at number 1 and 2. The poll was asking what class you're gonna play first in the beta. And Hunter and Warlock are tied almost. Hunter has 60 votes. Warlock has 59 votes. I cannot believe it evened out that much. I thought Warlock was going to destroy this. And the poor Titan, dude, is down at 42 votes. So you've got Hunter and Warlock both with 35% and Titan with only 25%. Why do you think the Titan's not getting a lot of love?
I think a lot of people are underestimating the Titan's ability and effectiveness in PvE. I think a lot of people are basing that poll on their PvP, and the Warlock and Hunter super abilities in PvP are just super strong. Especially the Warlock, the Nova Bomb. Are you kidding me? Like,
It looks sweet.
if I'm halfway across the map, I'm going to get hit by your Nova Bomb. Seriously, the radius is huge, but Titans, I think in PvP specifically, agility and map movement and
huge,
super bursts of damage that the Warlock has. It's going to outshine the Titans. But in PvE, I think Titan is going to be a little bit more effective because you're a little bit more durable.
Yeah, you're the tank, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you're the guy who wants to keep boss aggro. When you were playing the Strike, with the bosses, I assume they have abilities that can hit all 3 players, but does there seem to be an aggro mechanic, like which player is the boss focusing down more than another?
Yes. It
Okay.
depends on how close you are and how open you are in the environment. That's how the focus does.
Yeah, and Warlock, it sounded like also will have some healing abilities because they have a res ability that was noted on the Destiny wiki. So I don't know if you're going to see healing.
I didn't know
I
that.
don't know. I'm excited.
The
I just know, like,
the two Warlock super abilities that I've seen are the Nova Bomb and then like the 3 Nova Bomb.
I think like this was pulled from a trailer, and people go nuts over that stuff and like obsess. It's like, oh, you can see the shields there lighting up on frame 2.
Trailer speculation videos are the most hilarious things in the world.
Do you think this means Pluto will be included in the Crucibles?
Guys, the Warlock's gun is blue. That means it shoots water.
Oh, so cool. Dude, see, people are going to believe that now that it's on Destiny the show, bro. Well,
Heard it
I
here
told
first.
you guys I wanted to play Titan first. Now I don't know if I want to play Titan first. I think I want to be like DPS. I think I want to be Warlock.
You need to hold down the Titan spot.
I think I should, just because it's so underloved, but I think it'd be fun, man. Like, I want a rocket launcher. I want a big fat LMG. I want to be like a huge, like, if you can change the weight of your character, I want this guy to be enormous, like 260 pound enormous.
Well, every class gets a heavy weapon, which is either a light machine gun or a rocket launcher. But I think the Titan, I didn't have any experience with the Titan in the beta or the alpha, so I'm probably just talking out my butt here. But in terms of, like, I think if you're a Titan, you're going to have, like, less recoil on your light machine guns or something. I don't know.
Some benefit. I bet the abilities are going to show up later for the Titan.
Yeah.
Like, what's cooler in a trailer? A Warlock jumping up and throwing a giant AoE bomb out of his hand? Or a Titan who's like, bubble shield?
Well, I mean, the Titan does have, what is it, the Fist of Havoc from the alpha, where he just smashes the ground and destroys everything. There's actually a clip. There's actually a clip of Ninja in his montage being a Titan, and he just dives a turret with his super, and it's really cool.
It's like Jarvan, you know?
Yes.
Jarvan's ult.
Pretty much, but more effective.
Nice. Okay, that's the poll. You guys can definitely check it out and go vote on DestinyTheShow.com. I'm just surprised that it was even. You can let us know if, you know, what class you're planning on playing, but we kind of got that out of the way. It looks like Hunter and Warlock are far and away. And DITTY, you're going to play Hunter again, man.
Hell yeah. Hunter is just too good
All right.
in my hands.
Looking forward to it. I wanted to go over real fast the 3 species within the game. Last week, I was like all excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk about each of the species and what abilities they grant. But really, we don't know what abilities the species is going to grant. It's just sort of, right now, from what we can tell, it looks like it's going to affect lore, and it's going to affect your relationship within the factions inside of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So there are humans, there are exo, and there are awoken. And the humans, as on the wiki, they are relatable, tough, and uncomplicated. They take a no-nonsense approach and a tough yet stern outlook with a view of rebuilding civilization as quickly as possible. And this is the race you're actually going to be playing, species you're going to be playing within the beta, right?
Most likely, yes.
They've got a cool story. So essentially they travel to Mars, they built the Exo, they had this whole golden age of technology, and then they were basically like wiped out like Mass Effect style. And they're just like little fragments of humanity left, and their goal is to rebuild, you know, Battlestar Galactica, kind of rebuild society, I guess. So that's the human. About as simple as it gets. The Exo, which is what I want to play, and you played this in the alpha, right?
I played Awoken in the alpha.
Oh, that's right.
My Sanic, my girlfriend, she played Exo.
Did she like the way they looked?
I think so.
I think they look really cool. So the Exo are self-aware machines that were developed by the humans, which is pretty cool. And they were used for defense. They were used to defend the humankind as they're venturing out during the golden age of technology. After everything went crazy and the collapse, which I'm assuming in the lore is like when all the bad stuff went down, humanity's being wiped, just getting wrecked. The Exo have completely forgotten what their purpose was. They don't remember like their past. They don't remember the fact that they were designed to defend humanity. So now they're just kind of wandering. They're supposed to be super complicated, and only your ghost companion can actually like understand your functions. These guys look like robots, and I love the like just their face options. I think there was an IGN video going over like their cosmetics. I like the idea of being like this confused robot who's like, what's my purpose in life? It's almost like Daft Punk or something.
Yeah.
And then the last one is the Awoken. Can I call these guys space elves? Is this allowed, or is that not cool enough?
In terms of Skyrim, it would be like a space dark elf.
Yeah. And these are ethereal bluish gray skin player species noted as exotic, beautiful, and mysterious. And we don't know like almost anything about Awoken. Like very little. When I was looking on the wiki page, it seems like their lore is really shrouded, and that they're, I don't know, unique and probably have this like crazy in-depth backstory. So those are 3 species. Diddy, thoughts? You're playing. What are you gonna play in the beta? Human, you said, but like, would you do an Awoken again or an Exo?
I probably would. I'd probably do one of each depending on which class I'm gonna do. But my hunter would probably be human, just because I don't know, something different. I really liked the Awoken, how they looked in the alpha. The eyes just looked really cool.
They kind of have a glow effect, right?
Yeah, I really like that.
Probably in dark zones at night too. It looks really awesome.
Night
and our
vision.
last topic, I cut you off there, but like our last topic, strikes and raids explained. Just wanted to go over the difference between the two. So strikes we mentioned earlier, short, 15 to 30 minutes, 3 players. Now raids are the late game content of Destiny. And these sound insane. I've been reading about it online, and Bungie had enlisted a top clan to sort of clear the first raid that's going to be launched with the game called Vault of Glass. And the only details we were given was that a 16-hour attempt failed. Like, they spent 16 hours on this raid, and it failed, which sounds insane to me. Like, 16 hours? Like, I hope there's checkpoints. I mean, there has to be, right?
There are, yeah. With the strike and the alpha, if you died, you would respawn. I mean, if your teammate didn't revive you, you would respawn in like one area back, and you'd have to run back.
Okay, so I bet there's wings. Let's say in this 16-hour like raid, you probably have 5 or 6 wings full of bosses, and if you don't clear the wing, you have to restart it. That would be my guess.
If it's 16 hours, I would hope there's more than 5 or 6 bosses.
I mean, does this get you excited? Like, because I'm looking forward to some super hard end content.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that it's long. Like, a raid in WoW is like maybe 30 minutes to an hour if it's an LFR, which is like the basic level.
I want a raid where only like less than 1% of the population can complete it. I want that. That's really cool.
They said like the original raids in vanilla WoW, less than 2% actually like attempted it and less than 1% completed it. And so it held like this mystical level of accomplishment since so few people actually were able to do it. Raids, by the way, are 6 people in total, not 3 like a strike. So there will be multiple raids when the game comes out, like, or over the course of its lifespan, I should say. But you could probably expect raids to be like seasons and expect raids to progress the story in the sense of late game lore. So I would bet you're going to have Vault of Glass when the game launches, and then a few months later, we're going to have a new raid implemented into the game. And you played the alpha, man. I mean, what do you think about 6 people playing and crazy difficulty? Is this something that you're excited for, or is this something that's like 16 hours? Like, no casual player wants to enjoy this.
No casual player is going to do the 16-hour raid. Seriously. Like, Let's be honest. But since I only experienced a strike, I can only double my excitement for raids because it's double the size. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
I'm pumped too, man. I'm counting down the seconds for the beta. Those are our topics for today, guys.
It's time for the Tower Talk.
All right, welcome to the Tower Talk. This is the segment where listeners leave us a voice message for us to play or read on the show. Keep it short and sweet, and we'll probably have a higher likelihood of making it here. This week's voicemail, we're talking about PvP with Epos Fox.
Yes, hi. I'd like to place an order for 2 pizzas to be delivered to larges with 4 toppings. They're both going to be ham, pepperoni, sausage, and bacon, and I'd like it delivered, please. Hello? Hello? I said I want a pizza. Hello? I want pizza. I'm gonna need to talk to your supervisor.
Hey BBK, how's it going? Great show. I just had a question about Destiny regarding the traditional multiplayer and the PvP, that kind of thing. A lot of negativity towards Destiny seemed to have come out after E3 regarding it, because the multiplayer alpha and the multiplayer they showed was basically Halo. Like, you played domination on this little map and it looked and felt like Halo. And I, having not paid a whole lot of attention to that part of E3 because I obviously wasn't there and didn't get to play the game or play the alpha because I don't have a PS4 yet. I was really confused as to why possibly people would think ill of the game after E3. And it's because they basically showed stuff that, or, you know, in the alpha was stuff that isn't Destiny. Like, the game has nothing to do with playing domination or capture the flag. And I'm really curious to see your thoughts on if they perhaps hurt themselves by including these traditional Halo-esque multiplayer modes, because to me that's not, like, that's completely irrelevant to the game itself, and yet that's what people got their first hands on of the game. And to me that just gave a totally opposite impression of the game. The game is, there's huge MMO elements that's going to make the game exciting, the huge world events that you encounter along your story progression, the 4-hour raids they're talking about, those kinds of things. So I'm not sure why they would include that as the PvP mode. I mean, sure, including it, but to put it at the face, to be like, hey, we built this MMO first-person shooter, come play domination. What? Just curious about your thoughts. Keep up the great work. Look forward to listening. Peace.
So I think Epos is asking, why did Bungie choose to show off PvP within the alpha? And was it damaging by showing off PvP in a game where PvE is so important? And I will say that, like, when I did see the footage of the Crucible from the alpha, I thought it was a bit lackluster. I thought it was a bit empty. But I think you also have to keep in mind the PvE content they can definitely test in-house. They can have people playing that stuff for months and months. Whereas the PvP stuff, they don't know the play styles of, let's say, a few thousand people, or if putting this weapon here works, or if this ammo here works. So they might want to playtest that. They were maybe playtesting netcode things with Crucible. And finally, I just think it's an early build of the game. But, Diddy, you played in the alpha. What is your thought on this? Did showing off the PvP content so early damage Destiny? And why do you think Bungie did put the Crucible into the alpha?
I don't think it damaged it. A lot of people are thinking that Destiny is going to be or is Halo, and they're just plain wrong. This game is not Halo in any sense. It might look like it, but from playing it, it doesn't feel like the competitive arena shooter that Halo is. Does that make sense? Like, I've said this in a video before. If you're only playing PvP in Destiny, you're missing out 85% of the game. Because, as Epo said, a lot of it is focused more towards the explore, the PvE. And showing the PvP, people want to know what Destiny is gonna bring to the table in terms of competitive multiplayer. And I'll be honest, it is not going to dethrone Halo. It's just not. But that doesn't mean that it's trying to be. It's not trying to be the next MLG first-person shooter. It's trying to be a nice, competitive shooter, but not professionally competitive. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. And, like, the alpha is not going to have, like, a quarter of the gear that you're going to be seeing in PvP, or abilities, or subclasses. Like, PvP is really going to live at level 20 when people have their subclasses maxed and they're on good PvP gear.
Seriously, so I have a competitive multiplayer explained from the alpha on my channel, and I think it does a pretty good job of, bringing to light some concerns that a lot of people have. And I remember Bungie saying the alpha build that we saw is less than 10% of the final game, and it was more than a year old at that point.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
The E3 footage we saw, not this year, but the previous year when we first saw Destiny content, that was basically what we played in the alpha. Yep. It was ancient by their standards. So, like, they've improved a lot of things. I know when IGN was doing the map walkthroughs, Lars explained some competitive multiplayer changes that they've already done. Yeah,
like ammo spots and, like, different routes and, things that they learned just from the alpha regarding we put too much ammo on the map,
Yeah, and this game, Destiny's competitive multiplayer, is not going to be bad. I mean, if you're thinking that it's going to be bad from the gameplay that you've seen and you haven't played it, then you just need to be quiet and actually play the game for a month before you make an opinion.
Yeah. But I think it's a good question. Like, I'm glad Epos brought it up because it really cooled me down. Like, I was like, well,
a lot of people have had this concern, and I just want to address it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, the voiceover of the announcer, capture a flag, pick up flag. Like, it was obviously such an early build of the game that it had some rough edges.
It's out of context, too. Like, I've read somewhere that the competitive multiplayer announcer has something to do with the storyline. So, like, it's taken out of context.
Yeah. it's hard to judge things off of a build that's super old. And I think the beta is going to be similar. I think we're going to see a lot newer build of the game, and they're going to be more focused on making sure that like the presentation is quite a bit higher, because this really is their public foray. Alpha was more media, gaming outlets, and probably YouTube content creators. That would be my best guess. Bungie diehard fans, of course, but with the beta, I think you're going to see probably a lot more refinement and a huge step forward.
Yes.
And that's going to do it for the Tower Talk, guys. Remember, you can submit your voicemails to us over at destinytheshow@gmail.com. Dropbox is best, and keep it short, and we'll play it on the show if you've got topics or questions. All right, last section, we're out of here.
It came from Twitter!
So we have 2 posts from Twitter this week. We have a new account, so I won't judge. You know, we're early in the stages. You can always tweet us topics, ideas, jokes, anything you really want, and we could read it on the show. I was asking you guys what class you're planning on playing, and Play Gas Station writes Warlock, and he's going to be on the PlayStation 4. Lucky you, dude. You're starting tomorrow. And Catstash writes in that he's going to play Hunter on the Xbox One. Team Xbox! We're not as cool. But, yeah, short, it came from Twitter today. Make sure to send your tweets over at Destiny the Show. And that's going to do it for us today here at the studio, our virtual one. If you have any questions, you can leave that down below. I think our shout-outs include Diddy's channel and stream. Diddy, where can people find beta content or your work?
That will be mainly twitch.tv/Diddy_ and twitter.com/wooshness with 3 O's.
Cool. I know I'm going to be over there, even if it uses all my bandwidth possible on this cruddy internet connection. I got to get my Destiny fix. All right, you can follow me at BBK Dragoon. Be sure to check us out at destinytheshow.com for regular posts and updates. Subscribe to us on iTunes. We're now on the store. It looks good. You can search us and find us there. Show notes, links, everything you need to know is on the website or in the description. Please enjoy the beta, everybody. It starts tomorrow for PlayStation users, Xbox users. We'll see you next week. We're out.